What's up? What's up? Just JP in the house. Okay, so you guys see that jogging, the bro and the Japanese lady. Hopefully you guys saw that. But it's pretty interesting though. I was at the stoplight, and usually what I do, actually I was going to make these videos called stoplight videos, and every time I stop at a stoplight, just make a video, right? Because like sometimes some really interesting things happen, especially the girls and different people, and so I'm just sitting in there and I just happen to see them to jog by. I'm like, well, okay, and I'm like, oh man, I should have did my stuff for like videos at that point, but oh well. But anyway, right now I'm just gonna go visit my brother and talk to him for a little bit. I was thinking about popping up videos every day, every night. I do have the content, I do have the time, so I think I might do that. But I don't know, I just want to talk about all kinds of things. But yeah, I want to talk about I don't know if I spoke about this yet, what's going on with brothers and sisters of the black communities or whatever, starting to really push this what is it called? The I guess I don't know exactly how to say what it is. I guess demanding more rights. I guess So like I just watched some video with some brother talking to Skip, the guy that was on first ESPN or something like that. I don't know, but him and that other black guy that was talking about basketball and different sports. Anyway, this one brother was talking about how we went and fought in wars and came back, and then still second-class citizens, and how white people commit crimes and they get taken in versus a black person doing something and get killed and stuff like that. And then he said, we're just asking for, fair housing, fair jobs and stuff like that. And I understand what they're saying and stuff like that. And I talked to some friends about it, and the whole thing I'm just thinking is, why don't black people just separate? Just go on and go to school, go on and put in the work for the hood, and go to school, start educating the kids at a young age, start using more professional vocabulary that's going to be able to propel them into the world, internationally and stuff like that, learn some different languages and things like that, and just start building our own. Because really, let's say like if you did have a nice house and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, but all it is just a what is it called, a liability. Even the house we live in now, I don't pay anything. My wife, she bought it. I told her, I said, her and her parents bought the house, and and they got really prideful, and like, you can't move in, the mother and father. I'm like, I don't care, and all this stuff. My wife was like not happy about what they were saying, but it's the first time they're buying something, or their daughter bought her own house. So I can understand the emotions and stuff, and I don't really care. I really didn't care what they say. That's on them. Because I got black people talking crap about me, and stuff like that. So I really don't care. But let's see. What was I gonna say? Oh, so basically, we just really need to separate and start building our own companies. Because I understand what's going on with slavery and everything. There's this something on Facebook. Some guy made some video, and they just talking about slavery and this and that and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute. Why isn't everyone looking at the big picture? Just like one brother said, slavery wasn't something we developed into. Not that we originated from. Slavery was something that we went through. It was like a blimp or something like that. So, man, all these beautiful women walking down the street out here, gosh, and the fashion is just incredible. All you have to do in Japan is come out here and just sit on the streets and just watch them. Just walk by, especially during the week. And he dressed like, oh my God. But anyway, he's saying it was just a blip in our history, and that's all it was. When you look at it, Black history was just a blip. So now we're finished, and I guess evidently we're supposed to be building ourselves back to the greatness that we had before we went into slavery by the Europeans anyway, which was, I think it started in like, well, I mean, the main thrust, the main boom just happened, I think, and after we were defeated, and what was that place? In Spain, the Moors got defeated and stuff. And I mean, of course, we can go back like what happened in Rome and Africa and all that stuff in Egypt or whatever. But I mean, for us, because we're talking about 400 years ago, so we're talking about, when the white man started traveling around the world and stuff like that. And right before that, we were ruling Spain, we were ruling, Europe practically, around the world, whatever, even, around the world. I mean, you just guys got to just do the history and stuff. At that time, Japanese people were black, Chinese people were black, and stuff like that. So, and I'm not saying everybody was black, but I mean, it was pretty predominantly black and stuff. And man, I just totally messed up and got off the freeway. But anyway, so we're on our, and I'm just thinking, I tell people, I'm like, well, why don't we talk about when we ruled Spain, or when we were rulers in Morocco and came to America, and had enough power where we can, put England in their place and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just really interesting, how we just, focus on slavery and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Listen, it's not even about what, I understand slavery is bad, but I mean, when you think about what was going on in Spain, those black men ruled Spain for 700 years. Okay, 700 years. Okay, and Spain had to defeat the black people to get their land back. We didn't have to defeat the white people. Oh, actually, by what they're teaching us in school, Lincoln freed us. But then some other people done some real research, and they said that they stopped slavery because of the wars, and they couldn't maintain it or something like that, And then they made up the implies, what happened with Lincoln, all that stuff. They did all of that stuff just to push under the cover that, hey, actually these black people were winning, or they made it difficult for us to, keep going or whatever. And so anyway, but I'm thinking like, well, why don't we, focus on what they did in Spain, the education, all the sciences and stuff they did. We focus on, like when they talk about Greenwood and Tulsa and all the black communities that got burned down. I'm saying, well, how did these people build this? How did they get the electricity? Where did they get the running water, the doctors, the hospital, who studied, where did they learn this stuff? What schools did they go to and stuff like that? Because I'm thinking to myself, hey, if white people are as racist as people are saying they are now, or black people saying they are now, or whatever, then there's no way that they're going to sit there, and Greenwood's supposed to be up on the hill, and sit there and watch this black community grow. And even let it grow. Have white women in the whorehouses and stuff like that doing things and stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe something is different. Maybe there's something about what was going on that we really aren't really being told or something like that. But the fact is, slavery did happen, but a lot of people really getting upset. I mean, it's like this. Like if I go around and I talk to a lot of brothers, and they start talking about it. And I'm saying like they talk about reparations and stuff, and I'm like, okay, but this is, I said, think about this, because they say white men ain't gonna give us our money and blah blah blah, and it's kind of funny. I mean, because why do you have to pay people for winning a war and for what's going on? I mean, like everyone want money, but what's the purpose of this money? What is this money actually going to do anyway? Buy you a house, buy you a car, nice clothes, whatever, and they're giving you money, and then all you're going to do is turn around and give it back to them, right? So, I mean, but I understand what you're saying, what everyone's saying, but, it's just very interesting to me. But anyway, I talk to a lot of brothers, and I'm saying, like, if me and you got into a fight, and you whooped my ass, and then a week later, or 4 weeks later, I come back telling you got to give me some money for kicking my ass. Man, I'm telling you, every black person, white person I asked that also, they said, I'll kick your ass again. Okay? I would say, hey, what do you think the white man's saying now? We have no chance of winning a war against white people. All they got to do is put a battleship in the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Gulf. Boom, send missiles to black communities, and there's nothing we can do. You know, we can't even really cry out to other countries. We might, but I mean, no country in the Western Hemisphere can handle the United States. Matter of fact, the United States, if they, I mean, they could be so cold, where they get, because they control the news media, that they can make it so cold. They say, hey, you know what? We can pay another army to come over here and quell the blacks. And I think, what's his name? Obama just signed something saying that allowing the what is it called? The United Nations forces or something like that to come to, declare martial law and stuff like that. And something like that. Be able to come in the United States or something like that. So, and I was talking to some friends, and I said, just imagine if they said, okay, we're so tired of black people and whatever. So let's show black people really how the black love is around the world. And I said, if they were to pay Jamaicans or Haitian, well, I don't know if Haitian have an army, but some of the black countries, the armies in the in Latin America, to come up and fight us because we are out of control and stuff like that. I wonder how many of those armies will actually come up and volunteer to get paid to put us in our spot. You know what I'm saying? To attack us and quell us or whatever it is. And I talked to a lot of brothers about that, and some say no, but I'm like, man, some say yeah, they probably will, because of the how can I say, the situation that's created, because black men in the United States are actually probably the strongest, the most powerful blacks on the earth because of the passport. I know brothers go around the world. I see it out here. Go around the world, whatever, and talk shit to people. I'm American, think they can do anything they want, no respect. And I'm not saying white people. I see white people doing it too, from wherever, any country. Like one day I was in what was I at? Minami, since Hibachi and Midodori, and I was just walking down the street, and I seen these two white guys. They're like maybe 6'4", 6'6", or whatever. Both blonde hair, blue eyed. They look like they probably came from Australia, but I have no idea. And they walked by this one Japanese guy. Both of them at the same time went raw, and the dude just jumped. And I just looked at him. I was like, damn, what was that for? Savages and stuff. But blacks do the same thing. I hang out with people that go into the store, and before they'll just open up stuff and start eating and stuff. I'm like, why don't you just pay for it? Well, I'm gonna pay for it anyway, and start robbing, fuck this, people, and fuck this and that. And I'm like, damn, you wouldn't do that shit in the States. Well, I would. You're a damn lie. You do that shit in the States, your ass to get shot. Shut up. I said, why you come out here and just cause trouble? Just cause trouble. So I'm like, okay, fine. And then you take all of that stuff, and then you take it back to what's going on in the States. Like I said, the white man is telling us, why in the hell should we pay y'all any money, for putting you in slavery? It was a war. You guys had us in slavery and ruled our country in Spain, Portugal, wherever, until what? Even when Napoleon started his things. What did he say? How far he said Africa extended? So those black people had their control over those countries. You don't think them white people got raped? White men didn't get fucked over? I was talking to a friend of mine. He was going back to the States, and he was like, he told me something. I was saying something. He corrected me. He said, well, black men killed hundreds of white men on some island or something like that. And that was during the time when I was like, yeah, black this and black that, And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Let me do some little bit more research, because You know, maybe I could. Maybe I'm not. I'm missing a little bit. You know, and there's a lot more I need to study. I've really only studied. I mean, not even. I haven't even scratched the surface. You know, I'm just barely. I'm just opening up the door to the knowledge. You know, and I haven't even stepped into the into the building yet. You know, I'm still reading the posters and stuff on the doors and on the walls. You know, as I walk in. You know, and I'm still walking in. But anyway, just imagine 700 years, 800 years of rule. Somebody else come in and rule your country for all. I mean, because white people didn't even rule Africa for that long. You know what I'm saying? And you know, them black men out there were beating up on them white dudes, you know, screwing them white women and all kinds of stuff, you know. And not saying that they weren't doing things to themselves, but come on, you know the brothers. You know, when you get proud, you know how brothers are, black people are. I don't know what the black women were doing. They probably were doing the same thing, you know, and they were just causing a havoc and stuff. And what happened? Those white people wanted their freedom. Evidently, they did something to get the knowledge up and created the gun. Bam. You know, they researched, developed, created the gun, and bam, you know, turned everything around. But I was thinking, I don't know if they had guns in Spain, but from what I read, it was, you know, I call it black on black crime. You know, it was the Sultan and his brother was jealous of him, and the king went and told the jealous brother, hey, you know, help me fight against you, your brother, and I'll give you anything, and we win, and then I'll give you whatever land you want. And the brother was stupid, you know, and went for the okie doke, and the army split, like a coup attempt, fought, and when they both got weak enough, he came in and enslaved everybody. You know, and then that's the beginning of our enslavement as it is today. You know, and I think that we need to look at that. You know, it wasn't that. I mean, you know, and actually, you know, I've read because I read like the Jewish people. Actually, it was the Jewish people who, I don't know about the king. Yeah, I'm sure it was the Jewish people, from what I hear, were the ones who actually started the slave thing and stuff like that. Not saying that just regular white people. It was Jewish people, because they always said like they always dealt in slavery. You know, that was just their probably number one profession and stuff. Like just different books I read and stuff. But you look at those things and say, hey, you know, we went from controlling some people. They didn't have the same rights. I know they didn't give them the same rights. Now, I ain't gonna say that. They said they had to be Muslims. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It's just so many things I read and stuff. But the whole thing is I saw this one book, and it said the Moors in Spain, and they had these pictures of these two brothers dressed in luxury, and had a picture of a white woman butt naked laying on the ground, and another white lady standing up. And I don't know, whatever was going on, you look at the picture, but I'm almost sure that them white women didn't want to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they didn't want to do that. And those things did happen. And those white men were able to defeat the blacks, and then flip the script, and put them in slavery and start doing the same things. Because I know, I just talk to brothers out here, and just the way they talk about sex and having sex with the women out here and what they would do and all kinds of stuff, you know, because they're not, because a lot of them just really aren't used to just being able to just be with all these women. And some, you know, you go over to Europe and stuff, and the sex is more natural, you know, than it is in the States. So it's like this passion, I wouldn't say creature, but this whatever it's called, whatever you want to call it, just arises, and it just go all out, you know. And I'm not saying that they take advantage of the women, because a lot of the women do want it, you know. There are women I've met that they'll just sit at home all day and do it as many times as you can get up, you know what I'm saying. And out here too, everywhere I've been, you know, it's just some women out there that just love sex, you know. But it's just the way that a lot of brothers just talk about it, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and do this and blah 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 and stuff like that. And I understand where it's all coming from. It's just, their imagination coupled with their hormones, and they just doing their heads. But then when they really want to try and go out and do it, it's a different thing. Like, I met some brothers, I mean, it's just interesting. I even met white dudes. One white dude I met, he said, man, you know what? All I do is every night I go out to a club or bar. He didn't say club. He said go to a bar, and I find a Japanese woman, and I go home and have sex with her every day. I have sex with a different woman here in Japan. And I just started laughing. I said, yeah, I know. And he said him and some more of his friends, and a lot of people, they do that, because it's just here, and just go all out. So we talk about the what happened in slavery and everything, but everyone's not looking at the fact that, hey, you know what? We ruled white people, in that time, let's say in Spain anyway. And then I don't know what exactly the Jewish people were doing, but probably at that time the black people were Jewish anyway. I think maybe, I'm not sure. I know that was during the Roman time. Maybe it could have been there, but anyway, they somehow we lost the power, and then they started doing the same thing we did to them. So the question is, what I'm saying is, why aren't they making us pay for 800 years of slavery? Or maybe they did. They made us do all this stuff, and they did it by force. Made us pay them back and fix up and build up everything. But the whole thing is that no one's looking at them. No one's really talking about them. Then another thing too is, like, I just got finished listening to this video of this one brother. I guess he was talking to Skip, I guess. Anyway, I just missed that thing. But it was funny because this dude said, I'm well off. I was poor, I'm well off now. And then he's talking about, well, if other black people don't get this and that, it's going to be more problems and stuff. Why don't we get the same fair housing? Why don't we get hired, and you hire a white person? And I'm thinking, like, wow, the way his conversation was, it was more or less like he was complaining because he wasn't being treated fairly, as though if you're supposed to be, that's the way the earth is. The earth isn't like that. It's basically the strongest fit, but it's not even the strongest. It's the ones who are the smartest. They're the ones who are going to lead. And the reason black people don't get jobs from white companies, of course, it's going to be because whatever, the situation is there. But I'm thinking the number one reason is because, if you have a black person in a white company, then you're going to have the white people doing what they're doing. Then you're going to have a brother coming in doing what he's doing. And then a lot of people just aren't skilled or tactful enough to say, hey, while I'm here at work, let me work, do my job, and build up and take what I learned and build something else. They just stay there and stuff, and then start complaining and this and that. And then next thing you know, you just changed up the whole environment, and then people are going to get mad. And of course, if you got a company of 50 white employees and 10 black employees, and the 10 black employees are always causing distress because white people this and white people that, yet they're in a job making buku of money, then the white people going like, well, damn, what's your problem? Right now, you making money. If you want to complain, fine, do that at home. You don't have to do it here. And then, well, it's my right. Yeah, we know it's your right, but you don't have the right to cause problems. And that's all you're doing, So, I mean, and it's just really interesting, though. And I talk on, I think it's Facebook and stuff. I make my comments, and I'm like, you guys gonna understand is that we went from being king. Well, we didn't. All of us weren't kings, but we had a king and the queen who ruled everything, and then went back to where it is now. So we have to ask ourselves, how did that happen? How did it happen so fast? Because there was a time when the white people were, the king of Spain was fighting against the blacks, and they just got beat. They just got beat. And then I read that when he was able to convince the Black Army to fight against itself, then that's when they won. So, and because also in that video that I watched, he was like, oh, well, you know, I'm tired of people saying black on this and black on black. No, black on black is a problem that we need to address. And it's you know, because like he was saying that, well, the unfair treatment that we have in our communities from white people is causing us to have low education and or inadequate education and lack of jobs and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you know, education in each community can be done by the community. You got iPhones, you got you know, smart tablets, computer. Everyone right now, even who's watching me, you have access to almost all kinds of subjects, and you can become an expert with it just watching YouTube and taking tests, self-tests and stuff like that. In a couple of years, whatever, you're going to be an expert. Like this one brother, he's a retired police officer, and it's funny, yeah, and he in 2 years taught himself to make a robot, and it was like, wow, you know, he was on the news and everything. So, you know, I understand what's going on, but I'm thinking like, you know, the police problems that we're having and the murders and stuff that's going on, that is a problem that we really, really need to fix. And I think that problem is not going to be solved via stopping the police brutality, but it's going to be solved via fixing up our communities. So like Gardner, like the guy selling the CD, okay, sure, that was wrong, but why was he out there in front of another store selling CDs? You know, why wasn't he on he didn't have a store on the internet selling all kinds of other things? You know, why was the guy Gardner, I think his name was Gardner or something like that, why was he selling cigarettes when he could have been what was that thing called, when he could have been doing gardening, cutting people's yards, washing cars, or, you know, learning the program and stuff like that? I mean, there are so many other there's basically what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people who got killed and who got killed shouldn't have never been in those situations in the first place. Now people say, well, he got the right to sell CDs. Okay, yeah, he got the right to sell these CDs and all of that stuff, but the whole thing is, why would you want to sell CDs on the streets when you can do other things and learn for free, and it's just going to take time and make more money? You know, and so and I understand what everyone's saying, but you know, and I talk to my friends about this, and they're making all these excuses, and I'm saying, you know what, just wonder if they're lying about something, slavery. I mean, just wonder if they're lying about some things, because I was talking to I read something, and it was like, hey, you know, in Greenwood, the blacks were winning. They started losing when they ran out of ammunition. That's when they started losing. As soon as they ran. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you be knowing that you had more money than Wall Street, you were considered the capital of the world because of the oil and stuff like that, and how did they even know how to do all of that stuff? You know what I'm saying? You know, how did they do that? Did they learn it? You know, and build all that and the steel and all that stuff? What? You know, I mean, it's just really interesting to me. You know, so that basically it's just showing how ignorant I am, right? But or revealing how ignorant I am. But to me, I'm just like, you know, how did they do all of this stuff? Where did they get the raw material? Why aren't we talking about, hey, you know what? These black people, they started off right here. They did this engineering courses. They did this. They learned math. They had to learn math. They had to learn science. I mean, now you tell black men, hey, come on, let's go, you know, study some trigonometry, and they'll shoot you or talk crap, you know. And you ask some kids, hey, come on, let's do some math, and they'll just start crying. You know, and I'm not saying this is only black people, there are a lot of kids. Why is that? Even here in Japan, I'm like, come on, let's do some math. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, what's wrong? What are your parents teaching? What are they telling you about math that's making you cry. So it's just really interesting to me. So what's going on in the black neighborhoods, we need to fix that, because creating a black neighborhood that's educated, that's going to create their own buildings, their own businesses and stuff like that, will keep people off the streets from selling cigarettes or selling CDs or doing silly things that's going to get them in trouble. A lot of people probably stop going to clubs. So if you do go to clubs, and people go in clubs and drink, well, you educate them about health and what alcohol really does to you, and say, hey, you know what, you can go to clubs and drink and party and stuff like that, and listen to that music, whatever music you want to listen to, and drink juices and have fun, eat some fruit, vegetables and stuff like that. You can live that kind of life. Go to a club. Because out here in Japan, somebody recently just told me, back in the States, now they play hip hop in some of the businesses and stuff. But out here, when I first came out here in '95, I walked into these brand name stores, and I got the Louis Vuittons and Cartier and all these other name brands, and they bumping hip hop. I'm like, whoa, so I'm just standing there dancing. I don't care, My first Japanese wife was shopping, and the girls looking and smiling. Oh, you dance nice. Oh, I like it. I was standing there doing my thing. And I was thinking, like, wow, wouldn't it be nice to be in a situation like this where you're conducting business and you can still dance and people compliment you and no one's fighting and drunk and acting silly and stuff, And I mean, it's really interesting. But I don't want to talk too long on this. But I believe if we fix our neighborhoods, because I know what, if you keep complaining to the police about what they're doing and all of that stuff, and let's say if you did stop police brutality and black people were to get treated, like that white dude when he killed those 9 people and then they took him to Burger King. Yeah, okay, fine. Black person go out and kill 9 people and then the police come and take them to Burger King. If you guys want stuff like that, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I know it was wrong, but like I tell a lot of people, white people are not going to, a lot of white people, they just, and especially if they got the, they thoughts and stuff, they are not going to put, a lot of them are not going to put, another white person down or throw them under the bus for someone that's not white. A lot of people are not going to do that, and a lot of black people will not do that, and it's true, I mean, it's true. I've been through a lot of stuff where white people, and they like, nah, nigga, fuck you. I'll watch a white person, like, okay, here you are, no, I'm like, okay, so it's weird. But I guess I didn't grow up in the South, so I have no idea. And my mom, she was a single mother, and she raised us, and we never lived in projects or anything. So, at least from we were 5 anyway, I know that for sure. My father, he was around, he was making money, but my mom was the ones that kept him away. But I don't know, it's just weird, it's just weird, and I don't know. I think they're doing an okie doke on us, because it doesn't make any sense for these black men who are rich, got money, doing well, sitting here talking about the struggles of the black communities, and they're probably not even living in the black communities, and they on TV saying this and saying that, and I'm thinking to myself, well, how much are they getting paid? He's not on TV doing that stuff for free. People getting paid to get this money. What is he doing with the money? How many schools are they building? Like, somebody just built a charter school or something in Chicago, and I'm like, well, why are they waiting so late? And we need to build the black community. Build the black community. Tell people, hey, education, all studying is just grabbing information. You grab the information, and the information itself is instructions, and it'll tell you what to do. And then you go out and you have fun, and you create, and you build, and you do this. You hire people and you pay them, because what would suck would have what would really suck get a job with a black person and they pay you, don't even want to pay you. You know, don't even want to pay you. They just want to give you a little bit of money and this and that. And that would totally suck. That would totally suck. And I've been, I've hung around some blacks that are cool, but I've hung around some that just, it's just no good, and even in my family, just some fucked up shit. And I'm like, damn, like, fuck, and it's like, because my prime years when I was a teenager, I grew up in a white neighborhood. So I got to see the good side of them. I didn't get to see anything bad about white people until I joined the military. But, and the good side of the black neighborhoods that I saw was in Venice. And Inglewood too was nice, but I just got into a lot of fights with it. But in Venice, it was like, wow, it was like, okay, why are these black people so much different than the black people in Detroit, or the black people in Inglewood, or the black people in other communities that I went to, or I shouldn't say went to, but lived in, like in Cleveland. Why are they so different? You know what I'm saying? Why are they different from the black people that when I used to go out to Pasadena? Why are they so different? Or why are they different from when I used to go out to Compton? Why is Venice, black people in Venice, so different? And the whole thing was, Venice was, to me, when I looked at it, it was just pretty much a family. Everybody knew each other, or everybody was pretty much related and stuff. And it was really, really different. That's why I talk about Venice a lot in my videos, because it was really different. I didn't get into a fight with anyone in there. Well, I got into a little confrontation. I just tripped somebody. That was it. But it was nothing serious. Nothing like I did in Inglewood. Nothing like I did in Detroit. Or, well, in Cleveland, yeah, I actually had to get into a fight. My uncle made this one guy that used to work at his place fight me because he was always jealous. So, man, got into a fight, and it was just like, real quick, bam, 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 he was finished, and I don't know, it was just really sure, just some stupid stuff, so in our communities, we have to understand that, hey, we got these walls that we need to break down, that we even have. I watched some episode about how the people in Mississippi end up going to Chicago because of white people. I guess white people that needed people to work, and I guess they realized that the people in Mississippi the blacks in Mississippi were hard workers, so they started migrating up, and they got, as the blacks started making money, building communities and getting rich, and then other blacks started coming in, and then all of a sudden, somewhere started taking on this white people attitude and said, hey, you know what? Let's make our classes. Rich people, rich blacks going to be down, and when the other poor people from Mississippi come up, and we're going to keep them in their place, and black people do that, people do that. And what happened, we just got to people to start receiving them and stuff like that. They said when the white people, or I think maybe it's the Jewish people, but anyway, I think it was Jewish, because the United States probably always almost Jewish anyway. But I know that was a messed up statement, but I think so, but anyway, how can I say it? But when white people came up, people were there to receive them. Black people were too, until they started getting rich, and then they just started messing around and didn't do anything to help the poor blacks. And then you got these poor blacks and stuff that was just stuck, and it wasn't even stuck because it wasn't that they couldn't do anything. It was just that the richer blacks, and I'm sure that's what it was, the richer blacks just said, hey, we're going to let them come this high, and that's it, and because they had the power, the money, and all of this stuff, and they were able to do it. And then a lot of people said, hey, you know what, Mississippi was bad when it was segregated, but we knew what was going on, and even when they dealt with the white people, there were no lines, so they'll cross a line, and people they get in trouble, whatever, say like, the black people ain't treating us good, the white people ain't treating us good, let's go back to Mississippi, because we know where we can go without getting in problems and stuff like that, having problems and stuff. So a lot of people moved out. But the whole thing is, in the black communities, we build up these walls. I mean, gangbanging, build up these walls. You know, the church is building up these walls and stuff. You know, these preachers creating these walls, and you know, different people just creating all of these walls to and that's just causing problems. You know, it doesn't make any sense where you go talk to, you know, walking down the street and somebody, hey, you dumb, hey, you dummy, you ain't nothing but a big dummy. And the only thing that's separating them is because maybe they drug dealers and they got money or something. You know, they got some type of financial advantage. You know, and they calling somebody dumb, and when they're all dumb. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make no sense to be rich in the hood, but you're only restricted to the hood because you got a whole bunch of other white people, whomever, you know, the other nationalities coming in, and they're like, nah, y'all stay at home. Y'all stay there in your own place. You know, they even going in and buying your home place, your places. You know, so it's just really interesting. But I think sure, the police brutality and then, you know, the murders and stuff that's going on is a problem that we really need to fix, but it's not going to really get fixed until we clean up the community first. And in a lot of those situations where these brothers do get killed or, you know, by the police, then those situations that they found themselves in would disappear. You know, it would just simply disappear. And until we think of it like that, because you know, the problem is not the police. The problem is us. Why do we got people who are mentally ill out in the streets carrying guns or knives? You know? Why we got people who are these kids who should be at home studying out in the streets beating up each other and fighting each other? You know, and it's funny because out here, you know, you got a lot of brothers talking about, oh, my kids are getting harassed in school and this and that, and you know, and I'm thinking like, why would you complain? Are they racist and they picking on my kid? I'm like, yeah, but if you're back in Detroit or Chicago or LA and your kid got into a fight, you're not gonna run up to the school and tell them, oh, you're being racist to my kid. No, you're gonna go out there and tell your kid, hey, how old is this kid? Well, you know, he's same age. Who's taller, you and me? Well, I'm taller. Huh? You go to school and you kick his ass, and if you come back with any scratches, I'm gonna kick your ass. You know, but out here they're like, well, you know, my son is being harassed and bullied and blah 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 and blah blah blah. I'm taking him out of school. I'm doing this. So I'm going to do this. All right, you wouldn't do that when you're at home. My son have problems, you know, and when he was in elementary school, everyone have problems. And I told him, you know, they talk about his hair. I said, go tell them your hair defies gravity. It's God, because it can defy gravity. Their hair hang. No shape, no nothing. It's just there. The wind blows, it just blows with the wind. No resistance, nothing. It's a slave to outside forces. Your hair, at least your hair do resist, and it does stand up. You know, so he went and he started talking about his hair again. He told him that. And some kids cried. The teacher got mad at him because, you know, the teacher was insulted too. But he got mad at my son, but he got mad at everyone else. Then they talking about his skin, and I was like, well, Japanese people, you know, they white in the summer, and in the winter, and black in the summer. So you tell them that. And then when the summer comes, you know, you go to school and you say, hey, now we're the same color. You know, and he did that, and some of the kids got mad, some laughed. The teacher, you know, got mad again, you know, and they called him a gorilla. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with a gorilla? Gorilla's not a bad creature. You know, it's take care of his family. You know, if he does, the gorilla, you know, the head gorilla has sex with other female gorillas. The other female gorillas aren't going to be fighting and stuff, you know, and stuff like that. He protects his family. He's there for the family and stuff, you know. And I told my son, there's a lot of guys that are not like that, you know. I said, that are just not like that. So I don't know. It was just funny. But I said, but they're calling you a gorilla. But when you look at it, because out here in Japan, you know, they always call them, you know, people, oh, we're yellow monkeys and stuff like that. And I'm like, you're not no fucking monkey, but I don't know, it's a trip, you know, like I said before in these other videos when they made the Planet of the Apes you know, saying that was supposed to be Japanese people and stuff. And you come out here and it's really something out here. But you know, I don't want to say it on here, but you come out here and you'll see it, you'll understand it, and people tell you, and you're like, wow. But anyway, I just told him, I said, hey, you know what? If a monkey and a gorilla got into a fight, who will win? And he said, oh, gorilla. I said, yeah. I said, so next time they call you a gorilla, you take a piece of paper, crumble it up, you put it on the table, you ball your fist up, you point to yourself, say gorilla, you can beat on your chest, or whatever, and then you point to that piece of paper, you take your fist and you slam it, you crush that piece of paper with all the force you can on that table, and when he did it, my wife, she kind of got mad about the monkey thing, you know, because you know, out here they really talk about, I mean, it's like I guess blacks talking about nigga and the word nigger and stuff like here out there, and so she kind of got mad. And then when I said to smash it, she just like, oh my god, no, you can't do that, you know, you're gonna cause some problems. I'm like, I don't care, you know, just get the message, you know. Why should they get upset? There are no monkeys in the class and there are no gorillas in the class, you know. It's just, the whole thing was his strength. My son was bigger than it was, and if they got into a fight, he gonna crush him. That was the real message. But if they want to turn it into a monkey gorilla thing, well, that's their ignorance, you know. So he was like, I was like, oh, so he went to school, and maybe a couple of weeks later somebody did that. He did that. Boy, he said some of them kids started crying, you know, because they were all like in the 3rd or 4th grade, and some of the what was it? Some of the and the teacher got mad at him, you know, because I guess he felt insulted and stuff, you know. And then he just finally made everybody stop talking about him. You know, he said, hey, you guys, stop talking about him. The same thing happened to me when I was in tech school in some base. I don't remember what it was. It was in I think in one of the Carolinas, maybe South Carolina or something. I forget which base it was, but it was a white dude. It was the first Ku Klux Klan I ever met, and I didn't even know what Ku Klux Klan was until I went to the base. And he just like, hey, you know, started bothering me in class. So I like, all right, you know, the instructor isn't stopping him, so fine. So I just started talking history, you know, white history that was embarrassing and embarrassed him and everything, and everybody got mad. Teacher, he couldn't get mad because I didn't say anything racist. You know, it's history. You know what they gonna do? Take me to court? I just go to the library and just show it to them. Say, yeah, that's all I did was quote some other white boy, you know, wrote. And then I was insulted. You know, it just got to the point where, you know, they were just getting insulted every time he opened his mouth. And he just told the dude, he said, man, listen, if you say another word to Airman Duncans again, then I am going to personally kick you out of this class. You're gonna fail, you know. And wow, they changed this up. The dude stopped. You know, he got mad at me, but you know, but I won. You know, so I'm thinking, you know, we're gonna have to change the neighborhood. We're gonna have to get rid of all those walls. We're gonna have to stop saying, you know, we run around talking about we kings and queens, and all of us couldn't have been kings and queens in Africa, because all of us nothing would get done. You know, nothing would get done. If you had, I mean, all you people right now, if you had $1 million, what would you do? And you know, as soon as they do, I get $1 million, I'm quitting my job, I'm quitting your job. Well, when you quit your job, you're gonna, what's gonna happen with that what's gonna happen with all that knowledge? What are you gonna do? Who's gonna come in and take over? Everybody with $1 million, all they gonna do is sit around and do nothing. Sit around and do nothing, while other countries who have this control, this thing that's going on, you know, this structure, then all they're gonna do is come in and take over. And I think that's what they said would happen in those black empires. They said people just got too complacent or something like that, and that's where they lost. You know, you got to stay vigilant, I guess, or I think that's the word. You know, it's weird because I haven't used a lot of these words in a while, and they just popping up. I think, what word popped up the other day? I was talking about, it was some word that I guess I can't remember. But like today, I was sending mail and the word abode just popped in my mind. I'm like, okay, where did this come from? You know, it's just funny. And I haven't used that word, and like I know I haven't used it since I've been in Japan. You know, so I'm like, wow. But anyway, yeah, I think we just really need to. The hood is more important. You know, it really is, because a lot of those kids, you know, out there that's doing things, you know, they're getting caught up in those malls and stuff. Why are black kids going to a white mall? Where's the black mall in the black community? You know, why isn't there voting on a local level? Why don't we have our own police stations with black people in our own neighborhoods? You know, that stuff we can do. You know, but I don't know, it's a trip. But anyway, I gotta park. I'm out. Peace.